Hi and welcome back. Now, have you ever wondered what the damage in Rust actually is for each weapon? What distance it is, what armour you have to be wearing, what the fall damage is across certain meters? Well, I've painstakingly checked every single weapon to ensure that I could work out exactly what the damage was for each weapon and when it was most effective. And some of the results that came from it were actually quite shocking, considering some of the weapons which matched each other in the exact same damage across the same distance. Now, this project came about from watching a stream from Mark Plays when he asked this question.
How much is the sound doing? Yeah, I swear the guns don't actually, like, when it says like it does 50 damage on a gun, it doesn't. It really, yeah. I think it's a headshot. That's what does 50.
This got me thinking, how exactly is damage calculated in Rust? With the new Rust recoil in place, people are going to experiment with more guns, but now you need to know exactly what each gun can do, when it can do it, and is it viable to even use that gun? So I took all the data from battle logs across 100 meters, 50 meters and 0 meters to try and work out exactly what each damage was. And what if I was to tell you that the P2, the SAR and the LR do exactly the same damage over 100 meters? Not only that, what if I was to tell you that the damage only applies to 85% of the weapons at the same distance from a headshot wearing the same armor type? Now, this might get boring for some people, but if you want to understand your PvP perfectly, you need to understand the damage that you can actually create, or the damage you're going to take from someone else. That could be the game changer in any PvP battle. But I'll try and keep it as short and upbeat as I can because there's a lot of numbers to go through. At the end, you'll be able to go through each weapon on a chaptered basis in this video, so you can see all the damage for each one, and all the information that I've put on the spreadsheet will be available via my Discord. The link is below in the description. Now, as I said, a lot of data was taken for this. It probably took about 14 hours of testing, going through battle logs, compiling all the information into a spreadsheet, doing the trend analysis across all the weapons, working out the ratios of all the distances. So if you like this sort of stuff, you want to see more of it, leave a like, because it indicates to me that it's actually worth doing. As I said, it takes a lot of time to do this, but if it's beneficial, I'll definitely look at other pieces to do. I think the biggest thing for this is to understand PvP from a data perspective. Not a lot of people took a lot of consideration before. I think after you see some of the numbers, you might take a bit of a deeper look into how you actually set your loadout up, as I said. Now, at the start, I briefly mentioned that the SAR, the LR and the P2 do the same damage over 100 meters. Now, you could argue that obviously the LR will continue that damage and get better accuracy over the 100 meters, but to put this into perspective, the LR, which isn't craftable, does the same damage as a P2, which is an old school pistol, which used to be used by everyone back in the day. Now, taking that into consideration, things like this give you the thought of, is it worth chasing that LR down? And when you hear it, no, it's not, because it does the same as the SAR. So this is what I want to try and get to with some of the data. Now, there is a magic formula for 85% of all the weapons in Rust. As you see from this graph here, it stipulates that from 97 meters, if you headshot someone with a coffee can helmet, you will get the damage rating shown for every single one of these weapons. Now, if you hit someone in a rad suit or they're naked, obviously the damage will be higher, but if it's metal armor, it's going to be lower. So you have to take that in consideration, but also think of that as well if you are taking hits. If you understand the numbers, you can quickly calculate yourself what you can do before you get hit again, so you can understand when you're going to med. Now, it's very important. A lot of the best PvPers know this, or have an instinct of when to do it, but it could be the difference between you winning or losing that fight. Now, I'm not going to go through every single weapon and show exactly what the stats are. As I said before, I'll chapter the end of this video and have a slide for each one where you can pause and have a look for yourself and understand the damage that can be created over a certain distance. Just please bear in mind that all the testing was done in the same conditions against a naked, rad suit, full coffee can and metal armour. Now I didn't do heavy or bone because I don't personally see them as much in game, but for later videos I can go through individual head pieces, chest pieces, hands, feet, you name it. As I said, leave a like so I understand if it's something that people are interested in. At the end of the slide, as I said, for each weapon, so you can really go in depth and see for yourself exactly what is there. I've tried to make it as clear and easy as possible to read so you can understand it. And again, all this data is available via my Discord, so you can manipulate and change and alter and get the best loadout for yourself. But think of this, people commonly use the custom MP5 and Thompson, and you commonly hear the argument between it. Shown by this data here, you can see exactly that the Thompson is the more viable over 100 meters, but the custom is the best close up. Now, I've seen people try to use a custom at like 80 meters and get hardly any hits, and those hits, as you can see, the damage are very, very low. You switch to Thompson and it changes the outcome of a fight quite quick. Now, I've also tiered all the weapons to what I think is the most viable in a simple slide. This is basically looking at the viability of getting the weapon, can it be crafted, the damage over the 100 meters, and viable for someone who is solo. Groups can get a lot of these weapons, M249s, etc. Solo, unless they're on a quieter server, aren't going to get that. So I've tried to tier it in a list where it's an all-round tier list. Now I'll just tell you now, the LR's last because for me, a weapon that you get from a military crate shouldn't do the same power over 100 meters as a P2.